just got done with a weld today. Went excellent. Absolutely fantastic. Ended up setting 63 feet of casing, 165 foot deep. Made more than 10 gallons a minute. Couldn't be happier. But I noticed that we were 45 hours overdue on an oil change. So that's why I said we're gonna get home early today. It's about 5 minutes to 3 right now. We're gonna go ahead and do an oil change on the drilling rig out here. The oil's nice and hot, so we should be able to get all of it drained out and show you just a little bit of routine maintenance that we do here. So this is the big giant filter. I gotta go upstairs and get a filter, $17.92. The way that you drain oil on this, because you can't access the bottom of the oil pan. So like in theory, yeah, you could sit there and take one of these plugs out and you could drain the bottom of the oil pan. But somewhere, I think it's this hose right there. See that hose that goes down, comes over here, and it disappears right there, and it's right here. So we basically have a ball valve, and that's how we drain our oil. So we gotta come in here. I got that super tight. That's our backup emergency plug. But we're gonna take that off, bring it out here. I'll show you how we change the oil on this thing. After we're done changing the oil, I gotta tighten my chains. So some rigs use cables and this rig uses chains. So the top head has 2 chains on it. You see them right there? So then one needs to be tightened. You can actually physically see how much tighter one is and one's loose. I noticed today as we were drilling, I had all of my tension hanging on one. Yeah, and see, you can see it right there. Yep. You can see which one's tight and which one's loose. But we're gonna do a little bit of maintenance today. Now, another crazy thing is we sunk this thing. I mean, we were on a job site and they had put the power line in and trenched it in, I guess, with like a 36-inch bucket. And we had to cross it. Well, we put our mats down and everything was fine until the end of the day when we had to move. As we moved across the area with our mats, it mushed the mat down and shot it out the back, and then the truck literally went down. We hooked a 100,000-pound strap to it and started dragging it, and the back wouldn't move. It just drug the front end over and brought the front end into the trench too. The whole truck was leaning. I didn't have any footage because just situations like that, I don't ever think to camera it. But this was actually touching the ground. All of this, like mud, was up to here. It was tough. All of the inside of the duals were packed with mud and giant rocks. We ended up having to use the jack pad with 2 big 6x, lift it up, pack the ditch full of 6x6s, and then lower the truck back down. And while we had it in air and we filled the ditch with 6x, we put more mats on it. Then we hooked our big strap back up to the front and we towed it out. We tried 3 or 4 times to tow it out, and finally on the 4th time we got it. But yeah, I wish I could have showed you all that. Cool, let's get some stuff for this oil change. All right, here is our oil hoard. So this is Schaefer's. I use Schaefer's in my Ram and in our brand new Mack truck, because the Mack truck with this whole DEF and DPF and all that, it actually runs higher oil temperatures. I've seen oil temps on that truck in the 260s, which is pretty high, and I just don't like conventional motor oil for that. When you start talking about oil temps above about 305 degrees, regular SAE oil starts to lose its lubricity at the 300 degree mark. And if we're talking 260 on that truck, that's really high. So that's why I like to run Schaefer's in it. Plus you get a little bit longer runtime out of Schaefer's. It's definitely 2.5 times more expensive than your typical Napa Valvoline oil. But as far as the old school drill rig, that doesn't have the DPF or any of that fancy computer-based, running gear on it. So that's why I'll absolutely never change running that machine, and well, that one's got partial. So that's why we just run regular old heavy duty 1540 in it. Plus, we change our oil more frequently than manufacturer recommends. So we're always on top of doing maintenance. I remember our rig is an 06 model, and it on the entire chassis of the truck probably has around 15,000 hours of time. You know, I think at about 9 or 10,000 hours, maybe 7, I can't really remember, we rebuilt the motor. So we pulled the engine out, tore that down, and we were looking at everything, and all of the bearing surfaces looked great. The only issue with, and we didn't even need to rebuild it at that point, it still had another, you know, 1,800 to 2,000 hours to go. But we noticed at the top of the piston, and I'd never seen a two-piece piston before. I thought it was super cool. Like the cap and the sleeve are separated or something like that. They're held together by the pin. It's awesome. But, drill deck engine 1792. Okay. I'm up here getting my stuff. We've got our horde of filters. That's for the Mac, and then that's for the Ram, and different pickup trucks. These are for our fuel tanks outside. That's for the front engine. But when we rebuilt the drilling rig, I think we waited till about 12,000 hours. We had put maybe 1,800 hours on the new engine, and we started putting new pieces on the truck, sending in, you know, new chains, this, that, and the third. Well, when we would knock out pins and bushings and stuff like that, the bushings were actually in great shape. For the rig to have over 10,000 hours on it, the bushing absolutely showed no signs of wear. Because if you were to try to drive a pin out with a bushing and the bushing is worn out, the pin's going to be sloppy. Or sometimes the pin will wear itself, and then it'll kind of have like a off you know, side hitch. And everything looked good. The rig mechanic who was here, he's like, man, it's almost like this rig ain't got no time use on it. But that's, you know, us greasing it and stuff like that. So we just try to take good care of stuff. Got to make it last my lifetime. I'm gonna go find me a dolly. Good deal. I promise y'all I'm not being lazy. I had an accident about 3 weeks ago at this point. I was go-kart racing and qualified dead last. Had motor problems, nothing was working right. And finally, when the race came, I got it fixed. And so I had to start at the back of the field. And I was racing with people who aren't at the skill level. So you're kind of running with a novice group. And nobody knows how to lift. They want to just use you as a way to push them through the corners. Well, I got T-boned, and the side of the seat kind of cups your body, and my ribs right here on the back, it hurt so bad. And it's been 3 weeks, and like when I sneeze because of the pollen, or if I laugh, it's like this really heavy, dull pain. And I don't know if it's like a bruised kidney or a cracked rib or something like that. I didn't feel it pop when I got hit. And then after I got hit, I still competed and finished the race, which was like 40 laps after that. But yeah, so that's why I'm using a dolly. It also falls under the category of work smarter, not harder, you know. Did we get a delivery at midnight today?
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. All right, let's get that out of there. Get that loosened up. Oh, where'd you go? There you are. All right, so these are drainage pipes. This got the little male adapter on it. Just thread that in there like so. That'd be the Easiest oil change you've ever seen. Sort of. This part's the easy part. Getting the oil in the truck is hard part because the oil fill is right there and you've got all this crap in the way, you know? You got that pipe in the way, that in the way, the head's in the way, or the derrick's in the way. It's just a lot going on. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull one out because I got to glue the fitting on it. And I need to take a wire brush to that metal fitting and I got to clean the threads out of it. All right. One oil bucket. And we open. Then she should drain. So, in order, I know it might be all right, but we'll just go up here anyways. And we'll open this up. Maybe to get some air to it. Maybe help it drain faster. Old exhaust blanket. Yeah, you see the chain right here? See how, well, it doesn't seem slack because it's so damn heavy, but she's slack. There we are, mate. Got some oil drainage. We'll fill that up 90% of the way, and then we'll move this bucket under it. Let's see what you got. Let me take a peek. Yeah, they look pretty rough, don't they? All right. Yeah, see how it's only going in one, like one thread? That was why it broke today. It literally was hanging on that one thread. So get you maybe a pipe wrench or a big pair of pliers and keep working it back and forth until you can get that thing in 3 or 4 threads. All right. Multitasking, y'all, multitasking. That's our big Bertha. Sockets. Alright, we got this. And a breaker bar. Now we'll be good to go. Ooh! Almost. Almost. I'm gonna say that's 95% of the way full, not 90% of the way full. But what I'll do is I convert all this back over to the jugs that that we take out, because we got this old guy that does chainsaw art stuff, and he just uses old motor oil for bar oil. So we've got a deal with him to always give him our used motor oil. Okay, good deal. All right, I'll let that fully drain. Once that's done draining, we'll pop off the filter. Now, while we're waiting for that to drain, I've got my ladder set up here. I'm gonna go up to the top and take the safety plate off that holds the nuts in place to tighten the chain, and then we're gonna tighten the chain. All right, let's see here. Come down here. 9/16. I need that. And we need an extension. Okay. And we need our wrench. Shout out Box O Tools, man. Freaking awesome. Love that damn toolkit.
Got it back in there.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, take it off, take it out, and then we'll look at the threads. Yeah, flip, there you go. Flip your pliers around. Oh boy, you had that thing tight. Now we can take a peek at those threads. Yikes. I'm gonna say that bushing is shot. Yeah, that looks like a nasty nightmare of a mess.
You want to take that one out?
Yeah, if we can. If we may need to put this in the bigger vise and then use a big pair of pipe wrenches to take that out. Yeah. But I think we need a new bushing. That bushing is probably 15 years old, so it's due for it. You say you're gonna try the little vise, huh?
I'll try it right now. That good for it.
Get all the way down on it. Open it up just one more turn. Yeah. Nah, probably not. We need a bigger vise and a bigger wrench. Let me just find you the right wrench, because pipe wrenches, you're not gonna get the right amount of load and pressure. There we are. 2 inch, baby, 2 inch. Yikes. Let's see if this goes on there. Oh wow, look. Is that one bigger?
Yeah.
Ain't that a pain in the ass?
Mm-hmm.
Why does the galvanized one have to be ever so slightly bigger? Well, obviously 2 inch didn't fit. So let's try 2 1/8. Hot dog. All right. It definitely isn't the best vise. I'd say that one over there is better, but yeah, we'll leave it in there. We'll see if we can get it. All right, we're gonna take a pause on this because it absolutely is not coming out. I'm picking the entire table up off the ground, so we need to finish everything else. I've got 2 of those fittings. I might pull the other one out and just rebuild it. See, this is my ADD. Y'all are experiencing my ADD right now, bouncing around from project to project. Okay. Sometimes it's really hard to remember what it is I was doing and why I was doing it. Is this it? This may be it. Okay. That's one hell of a socket, isn't it, y'all? A big one. Alright, so we're gonna jump back to this. All the oil's out. We're good. I'll go ahead and shut that off. Alright. Like that. Bam. She's on there. In there like swimwear. Okay. Good deal. Ah! That's why I did it outside. I knew it was going to make a little bit of a mess. Mike's trying to steam clean the truck. Make it look a little bit better. After we got it stuck in that mud hole, it's just been ugly looking. I don't like the ugly truck. I like to look clean. One of the most dirty environments we work in the industry, and you gotta at least try to look good. Well, you don't have to, but I like to. All right, we'll let him do his thing. I'm gonna climb up here and we're gonna take that nut plate off. All right, so this right here is your safety plate. It comes up and makes contact with the nut to where the nut can't backspin itself off. If you see right here on the top, I actually welded another piece on there to bring it up because we were actually having that problem where the nut would spin. It would like barely hitch by, but it would. So it's so crazy how dark it is on the screen. But we gotta take this off. Take both of these out. Do much. See my little, I did that welding mess probably 10 years ago. My workmanship has slowly increased over the years. All right, so check this out. This is a really good explanation of what we've got. See how the left chain is sagging and the right chain is tight? So the left is this and the right is this. The left one is sagging. That means that one's wearing out. That means that one needs to be tightened more. The one on the left needs to be tightened more. It's already getting tightened more. We've already tightened this one twice as much as this one. So that means the left chain is wearing out faster than the right chain. Absolutely crazy. Ever since we put these new chains on there, it's been that way the entire time. This one is needing to be tightened more than this one. I might turn this one 10 rounds and I might turn this one 5 rounds. I don't know, no rhyme or reason to it. You tighten them both to where they're even, to where they both share the load. But right now, like today, what I notice is this one here, the right one, being that it's tighter, it's taking all the weight. Maybe not all the weight, but it's probably taking, you know, 70% of the weight, because this one's a little bit less. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten them, make them even. So bear with me. I've got my big socket on there. There's my wrench coming down. Now, if I were to just sit there and try to tighten that nut, all it's gonna do is come back here and it's gonna spin my chain. So I gotta hold the chain with the pipe wrench, hold it flat as I straighten this, and come over here and move this. So I can't film and do all this at the same time, so bear with me. I ain't got my tripod. Yeah, all right. Wow, that puts a unique amount of stress on my ribs. See? Now they both look a lot better. If you look, the one on the left still sags a little bit more on the right, but if we look down, we can look at the chain. The one on the left looks tighter. See right here on the bottom how the one on the left seems tighter? And then up here, it sags more on the left. It's just kind of crazy. I didn't want to tighten it any more than that. You can over tighten them. So what I ended up doing, I did 6 rounds on this one and 9 rounds on this one. Well, maybe not rounds, but I guess quarters, because I could only move my ratchet from here down to here. So I did 9 of this on that one and then 6 on the other. But now they're even, so I shouldn't have any chain swaying back and forth tomorrow. Okay, now that that's done, gotta put our plate back on. You want your nuts flat? That's the only time I'll ever say that in my life. Oh Lord, flat nuts. Come on, I'm using the light of my camera to see. Yeah, okay, I'm under it, good. Good deal, Lucille. Man, it's really dark on screen. Now that that part is done, I wanted to kind of touch on this. I'm sure you got some people, well, why don't you keep it tight? This, that, and the other thing. So this chain is probably 60 feet long, right? Maybe 70 feet long, because it's got to go up to the top, down to the bottom, around a pulley, and then come back up. And there's 2 of them. Those chains probably weigh 300 pounds. They're extremely heavy. When we put them on, we had the help of the Schramm guy, and it was a trick, and it was dangerous. But you may ask yourself, why don't you just keep them tight, or why don't you keep them loose? The best way to explain it is just like a bike, like a bicycle chain or a chain on an old school motorcycle. If you have it too tight, it's going to stretch the chain prematurely, and it's going to wear out your sprockets. In this case, it's going to wear out the pulleys and the guides and the pins and the bushings, right? Now, if you have it too loose, the top chains hold the head up. There's a bottom single chain that will help pull the head down. If you have the top too loose, it makes the bottom chain get more loose. When the bottom chain becomes too loose, those links, as it goes down to the bottom and it passes around the pulley at the bottom, it will actually take the links in the chain and fold them together, and it tries to pull a chain knot through the pulley. And you'll for a very split second, you'll see the chain at the bottom be loose, and it'll get really tight, and then it'll go pop, and it pops that knot through. The only instance when we've had that happen in the past is when we've drilled past 600, 800 feet, because when you have that much drill stem, that much drill rod, and that much weight, that puts all that pressure on the upper chains, which stretches them. When you stretch that chain due to all that pullback weight, that makes in turn the bottom chain become loose. So you actually have to go in there with your hand and push against the bottom chain to keep tension on it as you pull that out. You're putting your arm in harm's way, essentially. As we did that in the past, I started taking PVC pipe and holding it with the PVC pipe because it made me so dangerous. But you had to hold tension on that bottom chain in order for it not to kink. Because if it kinks and pops, all that, you can't have that. So it's a little happy medium there. So tightening the chain, very important. The amount of tension is also very important. Been doing this for almost 20 years. I know it doesn't look like it, but I know what, you know, good enough looks like. All right, chain's done. Let's get back to the oil. I'm gonna cut this off right now. All right, so we're gonna come up here and take out our oil filter. I'm gonna use this little bag. So that holds 3 quarts of oil, and it is an absolute mess if you drop it. And as soon as you start to change it, just like any other oil filter, it's gonna drain around it. I have in the past knocked a hole in the bottom and drained it into a cup, but I don't have something that's big enough to hold 3 quarts right now. So this is a trick that we learned a while ago. We just use the bag, wrap it around it, and let all of it catch the oil in the bag. And then we just go throw it in the wood stove. See? Not the worst in the world. Okay. Now, I like to come under here and clean this, because that's where the lip of your seal is going to be. And sometimes O-rings on the bottom of oil filters will stay stuck to the vehicle, stuck to the engine. And then if you thread on another one on top of it, it'll blow off. All right. It's just inevitable. A little bit of oil. Okay, not bad. Okay, time for the new one. All right, new filter's on. And it's tight. Okay, now it's time to start dumping oil in this thing. All right, Michael. I need some oil, sir. I need some oil. All right, we just dumping oil. Took the first gallon, then I cut that open into my little funnel here. This is the only way that I can make this work. See how we're working in this like confined, messed up space? All right. Just think, only 8 more gallons to go. All right. We got 9 gallons down the spout and 3 quarts in the filter. So pretty much a 10-gallon oil change. Let's see. No dirt, no dirt. Good there, all the way down. Always got to remember to put this cap on. Okay. Now she's tight. Okay, good. Good deal. Oh, mercy. Got a lot of. Got a little drippy. Okay, good deal. All right, oil filter, oil change is all done. I gotta come here and look at the hour meter. It's at 46.48, so 46.50. 46.50. All right, so 47.50, 48.50, 4900. So our next change at 4900. And just like that, I won't have to worry about it until probably mid-July. All right, you're all set. Okay, well, oil change is all done. Chain is tightened, so we're good there. Mike's working on cleaning the truck up from all the mud that we had picked up. And the last thing I gotta do is prep the trimmy pipe. So I've got the trimmy pipe sitting right here, and I need to fix the 90. So that's what we're gonna work on now. In the side bin of our water truck, we always keep a little toolbox with additional fittings. I don't know what in the hell that contraption is, but I don't have any more of my hard 90s. Yeah, I do. Right there. There's my Mamma Jamma. And see, that's actually got pretty decent threads inside. I think the other one was just wore slap out. We're gonna clean this one up and then we'll disassemble the other one because the other one's got a bad bushing in it. So what I need is another one of these 1.5 inch elbows right here, and then I could rebuild, you know, that fitting to be brand new. And then make sure our trimmy pipe stuff fits into it. Actually, it looks a lot better already. Got a little bit of buildup right there. I'll hit that with a little bit of, let's hit it with some brake clean. Okay. Dump that out. Okay, hit it with a little bit of lube. Then we'll run the bushing through there and clean them threads out. This should get us a pretty good understanding of more depth. Not bad. I say we're good to go. Okay, this is our fitting, and we just got to tighten our fitting into it and then glue it into the end of the trimming pipe. Good Lord. So when we do our grout, our 50 foot or our 100 foot grout, well, 50 foot we definitely use PVC. We just use thin wall bell end, and we don't even glue it together. We just push it together. And the top section that's hooked to the grout hose here is threaded on to, you know, by this fitting, and then the other two pieces to get you that 50 foot are just pushed in and held pretty much, you know, with pressure. And sometimes we lose the bottom section, sometimes we don't, but 3B grouts are inherently a pain in the butt to pump grout 50 feet deep. Okay, we're good. That's threaded in nice and deep. Earlier today I was grouting, I went to pull it up and it popped off that top one thread, so good deal. And just like that, we are good to go for another day. Store that in there. This is how we fill up our truck. Fills it up with water and automatically cuts itself off. Mike's got the rig looking absolutely flawless, man. Look at that thing back here. That thing looks mint. I'm totally digging the H2O mechanic decal. I'm totally digging it, man. Time for me to pull it back inside. Go for it, baby, go for it. This thing weighs so much, you literally got to smash the gas to the floor to get it to move. Okay. I know. Low air. Well, that about wraps up today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Something different, you know. I don't really ever show you stuff that goes on here once we're done with the job, you know. Today we got done early because it was a 165 footer and we had 10 gallons a minute, so it was a great well. If you're wondering, where's Dad? Where's my dad? He is down in Texas right now. So all of my Texas fans, shout out in the comment section below and let me know if you're in Texas, because my dad's down there and you might see him, but you probably won't. Because he's on the water, he's fishing. He's trying for a 10-pound bass. So he's caught a 9-pound, 15-ounce bass before. And he wants a 10-pounder. So that's what they did. They went down hunting for a big largemouth. And He'll be gone all week. So me and Mike are steady knocking them out. We'll have 3 wells done this week and 1 pump system and a liner job all this week. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and we will see y'all later. Peace.